Commander Sarah Chen stared at the anomalous reading on her patrol ship's sensor display. The signature was unlike anything she'd encountered in her 15 years with Earth Fleet, a twisted mess of quantum fluctuations that seemed to defy the laws of physics. As she tracked the signal's origin, her vessel's AI highlighted a patch of seemingly empty space. "Magnification 10, she ordered, leaning forward in her command chair. The view screen shifted, revealing what appeared to be ripples in the fabric of space itself. Then, like a ghost materializing from nothing, a ship emerged. The vessel was beautiful in its alienness, all curved lines and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shift colors as she watched. But it was also clearly damaged, with great tears in its hull venting atmosphere into the void. Sarah's tactical display registered no weapon signatures, no shield harmonics, nothing that suggested it posed a threat. "Computer, life signs. One detected. Extremely faint. Species unknown." Sarah's fingers drummed against her armrest. Earth Fleet Protocol 317 was clear. First contact with unknown species required full quarantine procedures and immediate notification of Central Command. But the dying life sign on her scanner wouldn't survive the 12 hours it would take for a first contact team to arrive. "Damn the regulations," she muttered, inputting commands into her console. "Computer, match velocity, and prepare emergency teleport extraction. Full containment protocols." The alien vessel's hull was deteriorating rapidly now, pieces of it breaking away like leaves in a storm. Sarah watched the structural integrity readings drop precipitously as her ship maneuvered alongside. One chance at this. Targeting life sign. Energizing. The teleport pad hummed to life, and Sarah held her breath as the shimmer of matter transmission filled the chamber. When it cleared, she found herself staring at a being that redefined her conception of alien life. The creature, humanoid but clearly not human, lay unconscious on the pad. Its skin was translucent, with what appeared to be bioluminescent patterns flowing beneath the surface like rivers of light. Long, delicate fingers ended in points that looked almost crystalline, and its face, while possessing recognizable features, had an otherworldly symmetry that made it both beautiful and unsettling. Sarah approached cautiously, medical scanner in hand. The readings made little sense. The alien's biology seemed to operate on principles she'd never encountered. But one thing was clear: without immediate intervention, the being would die. "Computer, activate emergency medical protocols, full spectrum analysis and life support." As the medical systems engaged, the alien's eyes snapped open. They were mesmerizing, swirling pools of silver that seemed to contain entire galaxies. The being's mouth moved, and Sarah heard words in her mind, clear as crystal, but carrying an echo of something vast and ancient. "They're coming." The alien's consciousness brushed against Sarah's thoughts like silk against skin, carrying with it fragments of memory and emotion. Terror, flight, pursuit across countless light years. And behind it all, a darkness spreading across the stars, methodically extinguishing lights in the night sky. "Please, help me. They cannot find what I carry." Sarah felt the weight of the moment press down on her. This wasn't just a rescue anymore. Whatever this being was, whatever it was running from, the encounter would change everything. She thought of her duty, her oath to Earth Fleet, the regulations that governed every aspect of her service. Then she thought of the darkness she'd glimpsed in the alien's memories, and made her decision. "I'm Commander Sarah Chen," she said aloud, knowing somehow that the being would understand. "You're safe now. I'll protect you." The alien's bioluminescent patterns shifted, creating complex geometries that seemed to carry meaning. "I am Kerala. My people are the Lysarians. And Commander, they will come for me. The Drachnid Empire permits no witnesses to their great purge." Before Sarah could respond, her ship's proximity alerts screamed to life. 3 massive vessels had just emerged from faster-than-light travel, their designs angular and predatory, perfect expressions of militant intent. The universal translator crackled as a transmission cut through space. Earth vessel, this is the Drachnid Imperial Cruiser Shadowfang. You have intercepted a fugitive of the Empire. Surrender the Lizarian immediately, or face the consequences of interfering in Imperial affairs. Sarah looked at Kerala, saw the terror in those silver eyes, felt the echo of genocide in her mind. She thought of Earth, of humanity's long history of standing by while atrocities unfolded. Not this time. Battle stations, she ordered, her voice steady. Shields at maximum. Plot. An escape vector. As her crew scrambled to action, Sarah sent a tight beam transmission to the Drachnid vessels. This is Commander Chen of the Earth Fleet. The being aboard my vessel has claimed asylum. Any hostile action will be considered an act of war against Earth. Kerala's patterns pulsed with something that might have been hope. You don't understand what you're risking, Commander. Maybe not, Sarah replied, watching the Drachnid ships move to surround them. But I understand what I'm fighting for. The first shots streaked across the void, and humanity's first real test in the galaxy began. The maintenance tunnels deep within Orbital Station 7 weren't meant for hiding fugitive aliens, but Sarah Chen had learned to work with what she had. 3 weeks had passed since their narrow escape from the Drachnid warships, and every moment since had been a delicate balance between keeping Kerala hidden and searching for answers. Sarah entered their makeshift sanctuary, a forgotten storage bay she'd converted into living quarters. Kerala sat cross-legged in the center of the room, her bioluminescent patterns casting shifting shadows on the walls. The Lizarian was meditating, or at least that's what Sarah assumed she was doing. I brought food, Sarah said, setting down a container of synthesized protein. And news, not the good kind. Kerala's eyes opened, galaxies swirling in their silver depths. The Drachnids have contacted Earth again. It wasn't a question. Sarah had learned that the Lizarians' telepathic abilities made keeping secrets nearly impossible. They're offering Earth advanced weapons technology in exchange for your surrender. The Admiralty is considering it. Kerala's patterns shifted to darker hues, a sign Sarah had learned to interpret as deep concern. Then perhaps it's time I showed you why they hunt us so relentlessly. The Lizarian rose with fluid grace and approached the wall. She pressed her crystalline fingertips against the metal, and Sarah gasped as patterns of light began spreading from the point of contact, forming complex geometric shapes that seemed to exist in more dimensions than should be possible. My people don't build technology as you understand it, Kerala's voice echoed in Sarah's mind. We grow it, shape it, become one with it. The Drachnids call it quantum architecture, the ability to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality through thought alone. The patterns on the wall suddenly expanded, creating what looked like a window into another place entirely. Sarah saw vast cities that seemed to be made of living light, structures that defied physics, and ships that moved through space by folding reality itself. This is incredible, Sarah breathed. With this kind of technology, humanity could leap forward centuries in development, Kerala finished, or destroy itself trying. This is why we chose isolation, why we refuse to share our gifts. But the Drachnids. The images shifted to show scenes of destruction, crystal cities shattering, Lizarians being hunted down. They believe they can extract our abilities, integrate them into their own species through genetic engineering. They don't understand that our gift is as much spiritual as it is biological. Sarah watched as the images faded, leaving the wall bare once more. How many of your people are left? Thousands, perhaps, hidden throughout the galaxy. I carry within me the collected knowledge of our quantum architects, the key to all our achievements. If the Drachnids capture me, they won't just gain our technology. They'll learn where every surviving Lizarian has taken refuge. A distant explosion rocked the station, causing the lights to flicker. Sarah's communicator crackled to life with alerts and warnings. She checked the security feed and felt her blood run cold. They're here. A Drachnid strike team somehow got aboard. Sarah drew her sidearm. We need to move. Now. Wait. Corrales' patterns pulsed with sudden intensity. There's something else you need to know. Something I've discovered about humans. She reached out and touched Sarah's temple gently. Your species has potential you haven't begun to understand. The same quantum sensitivity that allows you to develop faster than light travel, it could be developed into something more. Another explosion, closer this time. Sarah could hear the sound of weapons fire and screaming. What are you saying? I'm saying that humanity's next evolutionary step might be closer than you think. The Drachnids don't just want to stop my people. They want to prevent yours from reaching your full potential. They've seen what you could become. The door to their sanctuary burst open. Lieutenant Rivera, one of the few crew members Sarah had trusted with their secret, stumbled in bleeding from a shoulder wound. Commander, they're right behind me, dozens of them. They're killing everyone in their path. Sarah made a snap decision. The maintenance shaft in section C7 leads to the shuttle bay. Rivera, can you fly? The lieutenant nodded grimly, pressing a hand to his wound. Just point me at the stars. Commander. Sarah, Corrales' mental voice was urgent. If we leave now, there's no going back. Earth might brand you a traitor. Earth needs to know the truth, Sarah replied, checking her weapons charge. About the Drachnids, about your people, about humanity's potential. And I'm going to make damn sure they hear it. They moved out into the chaos of the dying station, Sarah in the lead with her weapon ready, Rivera covering their rear despite his injury. Corolla moved between them, her bioluminescence dimmed to near darkness. As they ran, Sarah could hear the heavy footsteps of Drachnid soldiers drawing closer. They had nearly reached the maintenance shaft when the first Drachnid rounded the corner, a massive figure in black armor bristling with weapons. Sarah didn't hesitate. Her plasma pistol barked twice, finding gaps in the alien's armor. But more were coming. Go, she shouted to Corrales and Rivera. Get to the shuttle. I'll hold them here. Together, Corrales' voice rang in her mind. The Lysarian's pattern suddenly blazed with brilliant light, and Sarah felt power surge through her body. For a moment, she could see the quantum structure of reality itself, could feel how it might be bent and reshaped. The Drachnids opened fire, and Sarah raised her hand instinctively. The energy bolts froze in midair, suspended in a web of light that had sprung from her fingertips. Now you understand, Corrales said. This is only the beginning. The refugee ship lurked in the shadow of a rogue planet, its systems powered down to bare minimum. In the makeshift medical bay, Sarah watched as Rivera's wound slowly knitted itself closed under Corrales' glowing touch. The lieutenant's face showed wonder despite his exhaustion. I still can't believe what happened back there, he said, flexing his healed shoulder. The way you stopped those energy bolts, Commander, it was like something out of an old legend. Sarah stared at her hands, remembering the surge of power she'd felt. Corrales, you said this was just the beginning. What exactly are humans capable of? The Lysarian's patterns shifted through shades of blue and silver as she finished the healing. Your species stands at a crossroads. The same genetic markers that allowed you to develop faster than light travel hint at deeper capabilities. You're like we were millennia ago, ready to take the next step in evolution. A warning chime from the bridge interrupted them. Sarah rushed to check the sensors, her heart sinking as she saw the readings. Earth Fleet, 3 heavy cruisers just dropped out of FTL. They're scanning the system. Rivera joined her at the console. How did they find us? They didn't, Sarah said grimly. Look at their search pattern. They're hunting methodically. Admiral Kane must have every ship in the sector looking for us. She pulled up the latest fleet communications they'd intercepted. Earth signed a treaty with the Drachnid Empire this morning. Full cooperation in apprehending us in exchange for technology transfers. Corrales' patterns darkened. The Drachnids are manipulating your leaders. Any technology they provide will come with hidden costs. They've done this before, offering advanced weapons to species they plan to eventually subjugate. The ship's AI flagged another transmission. Sarah's blood ran cold as she read it. They're not just after us anymore. Earth fleet is authorized to arrest any humans showing signs of alien-induced genetic manipulation. They're already detecting increased quantum sensitivity in people across human space. It's spreading? Rivera asked. Evolution cannot be contained, Corella replied. Your brief exposure to our quantum architecture has awakened dormant abilities in your DNA. That knowledge is spreading through humanity's collective unconscious, activating similar potential in others. The Drachnids feared this would happen. It's why they want me so badly, to understand how to stop it. Sarah slammed her fist against the console. Earth is walking right into their trap. We have to do something. There might be a way. Corella's patterns began forming complex geometric shapes. But it's dangerous. The Lizarians have hidden sanctuaries throughout the galaxy, places where we've helped other species understand their true potential. The nearest one is in the Carina Nebula. If we can reach it. The ship rocked violently. Warning sirens blared as the sensors lit up with new contacts. Drachnid warships. Rivera shouted. They must have followed the Earth fleet cruisers. Sarah's tactical display showed the grim reality. They were surrounded. Earth fleet ships to port, Drachnid vessels to starboard, and more appearing by the second. The comm system crackled with Admiral Kane's voice. Commander Chin, this is your final warning. Surrender the Lizarian and submit to arrest. This evolution she's triggered must be stopped before it destroys human civilization. Before Sarah could respond, Gralla placed a crystalline hand on her shoulder. They're afraid, Sarah. Not just the Drachnids, but your own leaders. They fear change they can't control. Show them they don't need to be afraid. Sarah felt the quantum energy stirring inside her again, stronger now. She could sense Rivera feeling it too. And beyond him, incredibly, she could feel echoes of similar awakening power from the crews of the Earth fleet ships. They were all connected, all part of humanity's next step. Admiral, she broadcast on all frequencies, I want you to see something. She reached out with her mind, guided by Corella's teachings. Light began emanating from their ship, not just visible light, but patterns of quantum energy that rippled across space itself. Through their growing connection, Sarah could feel thousands of humans watching, understanding, awakening to their own potential. My God, Rivera whispered as the energy patterns expanded, forming a bridge between their ship and the Earth fleet vessels. Across that bridge flowed understanding, the truth about the Drachnids, the destiny of humanity, the future that was possible if they dared to grasp it. The Drachnid ships opened fire, their energy weapons attempting to shatter the quantum display. But more humans were awakening every second, their combined power growing stronger than any weapon. Now they'll see, Corella's voice echoed in everyone's minds. Now they'll understand why the Drachnids are so afraid. The battle for humanity's evolution had begun, and there would be no turning back. The underground base on Mars wasn't much, but it had become the heart of the resistance. Sarah watched from a viewing window as dozens of humans worked with newly awakened abilities, their hands weaving patterns of light through the air. In just 2 months, everything had changed. The Singapore colony just went dark, Rivera reported, approaching with a datavat. But not because of Earth fleet. The entire population's quantum sensitivity suddenly activated. They've declared themselves independent. Sarah nodded, unsurprised. After their confrontation in space, the awakening had spread faster than anyone could have predicted. How many colonies now? 17. The Drachnids are getting desperate. They've started bombing some of the outer settlements, trying to contain the spread, but they can't stop it. Grill emerged from her meditation chamber, her patterns showing concern. The Drachnids have begun moving their main fleet. They mean to strike Earth itself, to make an example of humanity before more species begin to awaken. Sarah turned to the tactical display, where red indicators showed the gathering Drachnid armada. They had less than 48 hours before the fleet reached Earth. The planet's defenses, even augmented by Drachnid technology, wouldn't stand a chance against such overwhelming force. "We're not ready," Rivera said, voicing everyone's fears. "Most humans are still learning to control these abilities. We can't fight a war yet." "Perhaps we don't have to." Corrales' patterns shifted to a configuration Sarah had never seen before. "There is something I haven't told you about the Lysarians, about why we chose isolation." She raised her hands, and the air between them filled with shifting images, not projections, but windows into memory itself. Sarah saw vast fleets of crystal ships, worlds transformed by thought alone, and powers that defied comprehension. "We weren't always peaceful. Once, we were like the Drachnids, conquerors who used our gifts to dominate. But we learned that true power lies not in destruction, but in connection, in understanding. The quantum architecture that shapes reality is built on harmony, not discord." A commotion from the training area drew their attention. A young colonist had managed to create a stable quantum field, something that had taken Sarah weeks to master. Around him, others were achieving similar breakthroughs, their powers growing exponentially as they learned from each other. "They're learning too fast," Rivera observed. "The neural network effect. Each awakened human is accelerating the development of others." Sarah felt it too. The growing web of consciousness linking humanity together, sharing knowledge, experience, and power. But with it came understanding of how dangerous that power could be. "If we fight the Drachnids directly, we risk becoming what they are," she realized. "We need another way." Corrales' patterns pulsed with approval. "Now you understand. Your species' true potential isn't in wielding power, but in transforming it, in bringing harmony to discord." An alert sounded throughout the base. Sarah rushed to the command center, where the monitors showed a new threat. Earth fleet had discovered their location. 5 capital ships were entering Mars orbit, led by Admiral Kane's flagship. "Battle stations?" Rivera asked, but Sarah held up her hand. "No, I have a better idea." She opened a channel to the approaching fleet. "Admiral Kane, this is Commander Chen. Before you attack, I want to show you something." She reached out with her mind, connecting with every awakened human in the base. Their combined consciousness touched the quantum fabric of space-time, not to attack, but to reveal. Every person aboard the Earth fleet ships suddenly felt what Sarah had experienced in that first moment with Corrales, the vast potential within themselves, the connection to something greater, the future that was possible. Through their shared consciousness, Sarah felt the Admiral's resistance, his fear, his desperate need to maintain control. Then, gradually, understanding began to dawn. "My God," Kane's voice cracked over the comm. "All this time, we thought we were protecting humanity, but we were holding it back. It's not too late." Corrales broadcast to all ships. "The Drachnids approach Earth not just to destroy, but because they fear what humanity will become. Show them that fear is unnecessary." Sarah felt the shift as more minds joined their network, first dozens, then hundreds of Earth fleet personnel awakening to their potential. The quantum web grew stronger, spreading across Mars, reaching toward Earth, touching minds and hearts with a simple truth. Humanity's next step wouldn't be taken in fear, but in hope. "The Drachnid fleet will reach Earth in 46 hours, Rivera said. "Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it soon." Sarah looked at Corrales, then at the growing number of awakened humans around them. "We're not going to fight them," she said. "We're going to show them what humanity has truly become." The quantum network hummed with possibility as they began to prepare for humanity's greatest test, not a battle for survival, but a chance to show the galaxy a new way forward. Earth hummed like a blue jewel in the void, seemingly peaceful despite the crisis approaching. The Drachnid armada would arrive in less than an hour, over 300 warships prepared to reduce humanity's homeworld to ash. But in low orbit, something unprecedented was taking shape. Sarah stood on the bridge of the former Earth fleet flagship, now transformed by quantum architecture into something that was part ship, part living crystal. Around them, thousands of awakened humans had gathered, their consciousness linked in a vast network that stretched from Earth to Mars and beyond. The last colonies have reported in, Rivera said, his body glowing faintly with quantum energy. Everyone's connected. Even those who haven't fully awakened can feel it now. Corrales' patterns rippled with complex emotions as she monitored the quantum web. In all our history, we never saw a species adapt so quickly, understand so deeply. You've achieved in months what took my people centuries. Because we had you to guide us, Sarah replied. But Corrales shook her head. No, because humanity's greatest strength isn't in your potential for power, but in your capacity for unity, for understanding. Even now, I can feel your people reaching out, touching minds across light years, sharing not just knowledge but compassion, hope, dreams of a better future. The sensors chimed a warning. The Drachnid fleet had arrived, dropping out of FTL in a display of overwhelming force. Their ships blotted out the stars, weapons charged and ready to fire. Incoming transmission, Rivera announced. From the Drachnid flagship. The holographic display activated, showing the Drachnid High Commander, a towering figure in Baroque armor, his scaled face rigid with determination. This is your final warning, he announced. Surrender the Lizarian and submit to genetic purification, or watch your world burn. Sarah stepped forward, letting the quantum energy flow through her. High Commander, we invite you to join us in something greater than conquest. She opened her mind fully to the quantum network, and through it, humanity reached out not with weapons, but with understanding. The Drachnid fleet found itself enveloped in a field of pure quantum energy, not attacking, but connecting, sharing, revealing. Through the network, every Drachnid soldier and officer experienced what humanity had discovered, the truth that power wasn't meant to dominate, but to unite. They felt the joy of creation rather than destruction, the strength found in cooperation rather than conquest. The High Commander recoiled physically, but his mind was already caught in the revelation. What? What is this? This is what you feared. Corella broadcast to the entire fleet. Not that humanity would become powerful, but that they would show you a better way. That they would prove your empire is built on unnecessary fear. Sarah felt the quantum web pulse stronger as more minds joined. Not just humans now, but Drachnids too, their rigid military discipline giving way to wonder as they experienced connection instead of conflict. Their ships, Rivera reported, amazed. They're changing. The angular, aggressive lines of the Drachnid vessels were softening, crystalline patterns spreading across their hulls as their crews awakened to new possibilities. The transformation that had begun in humanity was spreading, offering the Drachnids a choice between their path of conquest and something far more profound. The High Commander's facade cracked, showing genuine emotion for the first time. All these centuries, we thought power came from control, from dominance. We hunted the Lizarians because we feared what they represented. And now you understand what real strength is, Sarah said. Join us. Help us show the galaxy that evolution doesn't have to mean conflict. That the next step for all species isn't about who has the most power, but about how we choose to use it. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the moment the High Commander's resistance crumbled. With it, the last barriers between their species began to fall. The energy field connecting their fleets grew stronger, more complex, more beautiful. Corrales' patterns erupted in brilliant joy. This is what my people hoped for, what we dreamed might be possible. Not just humanity's awakening, but the beginning of a transformation that could spread to all species, bringing harmony where there was discord, understanding where there was fear. The once feared Drachnid armada hung in space, transformed from an invasion force into something new, a bridge between what was and what could be. Below, Earth shimmered with quantum energy as millions more humans awakened to their potential, no longer afraid of change but embracing it. What happens now? Rivera asked, watching as the quantum architecture continued to spread, reshaping ships, stations, and cities into forms that merged technology with consciousness itself. Sarah smiled, feeling the limitless possibilities ahead. Now we do what humans have always done best. We explore, we learn, we grow. But this time, we do it together, not just as a species, but as part of something greater. The quantum web stretched outward from Earth like a growing tree of light, reaching toward distant stars, where other species waited to discover their own potential. Humanity had faced its test, not with weapons or warfare, but with the greatest power of all, the ability to transform fear into hope, division into unity, and conflict into harmony. Corrales' final thoughts echoed through the network, touching all minds, human and drachnid alike. This is just the beginning.